I'm Janet Kurtz, Editor-in-Chief of Nfocus.
And I'm Madeline Bradford, the Associate Editor of Nfocus. Welcome back to In Good Company, our weekly recap of last week's social scene. So we've had a great week.
We really have.
It's been super busy. You've been all over the town, so I want to hear about everything you've been up to.
I know. It really was a wonderful week. And I will tell you, it offered a lot of reflection. This was one of those weeks where everything sort of came together and we had these just magical events that really sort of made you sort of step back and take stock of things. We kicked it off with the Renewal House Thanksgiving. And for our audience who may not know, Renewal House each year does a Thanksgiving luncheon to give thanks for the progress that they've made for their mission to help women who are facing substance use disorder. Mm-hmm. It is a family residential space, so they could be there with their children to help them recover. And so they really do important magical work there. Everyone sits down to this Thanksgiving meal, and it was fun because there were people there who have been there from the beginning, who were part of the Renewal House evolution and helping it to succeed as it has. So everyone sits down, and then you hear the stories. And I mean, the stories are, they truly touch your heart. We had heard from a young man who was born at Renewal House.
Wow.
Whose mother was facing substance use disorder, and she really had nowhere else to go. And they took her in, they helped her through therapy, through, different ways to help people that they have there. Mm-hmm. Through that work, she found purpose. She found a new way in life. She cut her addiction. And today, well, first he went to Center College where he got his bachelor's in physics.
That's amazing.
And yes, and today he is in Michigan working on his PhD in climate space sciences and engineering.
Wow.
So just amazing story. And then we also heard from two mothers who entered Renewal House when they had lost all hope. Their children had been taken. They had just really nothing left, and were really kind of in a very dark place in both their lives. And what was amazing was that they found that renewal at Renewal House. They found hope again. One of them has now been married. She and her husband are first-time home buyers, and she's working to get her children back.
Oh, so, that's amazing.
Yeah, it really was just fantastic. And I would challenge anyone to not be touched in the heart if they attend that event next year.
And I wanted to ask you, what was the energy like in the room when these stories were being told?
I think that it was one of like hope, and that, there is something that can help people who are in these dark times in their lives. This is a space that can help them and can help their family. So not just them, but also help them from a family perspective. And I just think that is a gift. So, yeah.
That sounds like an incredible evening.
It really was. It really was. Well, that was just lunch. So then that evening, I had Alive Hospice. I know we're going to talk about you. You had the Harding Art Show kickoff that night too, which is always great too.
Oh, yes.
Alive Hospice, it was their 50th Anniversary Gala. So in 1975, when Dr. Barton, who was the founder of Alive Hospice, started the organization, there really was not something in terms of comfort and care for end-of-life care. And so there was kind of this whispers on the wind from England that there had been a doctor who'd started doing end-of-life care and everything that is involved in that, and involving the families. So the group got together over Krispy Kreme donuts at Dr. Barton's house and really built the foundations for Alive Hospice. And for years, they have cared for families here in Middle Tennessee, for their loved ones who have entered hospice, and for them as well. And it really was an evening full of just beautiful stories, and really how the organization has helped so many throughout the years. They honored a past board member, Susan Simons, who she is a just tenacious force of nature. And in fact, her grandson spoke beautifully and talked about some people called her the Dragon Lady. To him, she was Grandmammy and Grandmommy. And Grandmommy was a person who could be kind and gentle and loving, but who also, when she needed to, would fight for those that she loved. And Alive Hospice was one of the beneficiaries of her tenacity. And it was a beautiful evening. On top of it, Vince Gill and Amy Grant were there, who were also honored, and they spoke about the importance of hospice care and brought to light the fact that Vince Gill, when he was a young musician, went to Kentucky, convinced his parents to let him go to Kentucky, went to Kentucky, joined a band, and one of the first people that he met when he moved to Kentucky just a few days before the event had been moved into hospice care. So it was a very, very meaningful evening for him personally. He and Amy, of course, these international superstars, and yet, there are things that make us very human and connect us, and that is one of them, this hospice care. And so the first song that he performed is Go Rest High on That Mountain, which is, for anybody who knows that song, it is just tremendously powerful and a beautiful song. And I don't know. I don't think there was a dry eye in the room, actually.
Well, you had a very impactful day with lunch and dinner.
I know it was. But, I think that it is one of those things that sort of grounds you and reminds us, these are the stories that you and I get to tell. And it really is an honor to be able to do that.
Oh, it's such a privilege.
Yeah. So anyway, but you had the Harding Art Show kickoff, a beloved event, I think in its 51st year?
51st, that's correct.
Amazing. So tell us about that.
It was wonderful. I really enjoyed getting a taste of what's to come at the actual Harding Art Show in next spring. Art was in every corner. The featured artist was announced to be Blair Wheeler, who's known for kind of mixing surrealism and realism in her art. And she had these massive, grand gold canvases with lush flowers and hummingbirds. There were hummingbirds all across the house. And it was really beautiful to see the crowd mingle and look at the art and engage with it. It's so fun for me always to go to art-centric events. I love being immersed in a creative community with people who also really care about art.
Yes.
And the energy and the excitement for this event was really palpable. And the co-chairs emphasized the legacy of this event and how it raises very crucial funds for Harding Academy. Most of the people in the room were parents of children in Harding Academy. And it was really great to see the community unite around this event.
Yes. It is. That is such a wonderful event and wonderful weekend in the spring. And again, very beloved. So,
and it generates about like 5,000 visitors to the campus every year, and they're expecting it to be even bigger than their 50th anniversary last year.
Wow. And all to help Harding. I think one of my favorite stories is the first year, 51 years ago, it went to buy computers for the school.
Oh, that's amazing.
Isn't that incredible? And just, to continue to give back to the school, to have this wonderful asset that helps give back to the school.
And their arts education programs.
Yes, exactly. Well, good. I think that sounds wonderful. That's a great way to spend an evening.
Yes.
Yeah. So the next night, so every year, and be on the lookout because November 24th, you heard it here first, our Best Parties Readers Poll will be launching. And we'll talk more about that in our next episode. But I went to the Nashville Bourbon Auction, and our readers will remember they won the 2024 Best Party. They swept some of the categories, and after walking in and experiencing it myself, I understand why. But first, we're going to hear from the founder, Dan Weisman.
Hi, today I'm here with Dan Weisman, who is with Alliance Bernstein, but has started the Nashville Bourbon Auction, which you may remember won the Best Parties poll in our Nfocus Best Parties. You may also remember him from our Fresh Faces of Philanthropy issue. Dan, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely. And we're so excited about the bourbon auction tomorrow night. Tell us a little bit about the inspiration of the auction itself.
I can't take credit for it. A group of my friends, Max Goldberg, Mark Lombardi, and Drew Holcomb, came to me with an idea for a charity event, mixing bourbon and music. And they basically just asked me to pay for it out of a marketing budget. And I said, that sounds, compelling.
Right.
And I just kind of ran with it. And the first event was really successful. It was kind of done in earnest on the rooftop of 404 Kitchen. We ended up raising about $110,000 for Tennessee Golf Foundation. And it was just a magical night. And I thought, man, there's something here. So I just kind of ran with it and have continued to do it for the next 5 years. We're on 5 years now. So
wow.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations
you.
on your success with that.
Thanks.
Because that is a milestone.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite aspects of the evening?
Well, I hate charity events. So this is the charity event for people that hate charity events. I don't like getting dressed up for them. I hate all the sort of pomp and circumstance of them. But I'm philanthropic and I'm giving and I like being social, but I hate doing it in a sort of convoluted way. So
sure.
I think just the relaxed nature of it and bringing together people that genuinely want to be there. I'll give you an example. We don't really sell tables because when you sell tables, people, invite people that don't actually want to be there. So every single person that's there really wants to be there.
Oh, that's
to
fantastic.
The point where people beg for tickets leading up in the days leading up to it, and we're limited by space. We want to keep it intimate, but I just like the intimacy of it, and I like sort of being just a vessel for other nonprofits to receive funds that they wouldn't otherwise get and receive attention on their causes they wouldn't normally get as well.
Well, speaking of that, tell us a little bit about the organizations that you have helped with the funds raised from this event.
Yeah. So starting in the first year was Tennessee Golf Foundation. The second year was Nashville Health. We raised about $170,000. The third year, it was a combination of the Country Music Hall of Fame and Impact Youth Outreach. Jelly Roll performed that year and was involved with the organization at the time, and so we split the funds between the two of them. And last year, Marcus King performed, and we raised money for his donor advised fund with the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee. We raised money for Nashville Health again. We raised money for the Clivial Chordoma Foundation, which was a organization very close to the heart of one of our community members, Travis Messina, whose daughter had been diagnosed with a very rare form of cancer. And so we raised money specifically for that organization. And there was a couple other smaller organizations that we sent funds to last year as well.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Check out our coverage of the Nashville Bourbon Auction in good company. And we'll be back with a great night to talk about a great night.
Thanks.
Well, Dan said it best, but I have to say that what I experienced was so wonderful. It was a room full of stylish people. It was a who's who of leaders in the music industry and the finance industry, really varied across the board, but really people who are passionate philanthropists and also passionate about bourbon. And I have to tell you, what impressed me the most was, so we had 4 roses, and then Rare Character also had these high proof bourbons there. And so you had tastings with these little jars, and I talk about it in my article, but it kind of reminded me of Alice in Wonderland, that they should have had little tags on them that said, "Drink me." And they were just that sort of enticing.
Right.
But it was a room of people who were ready to get very granular around the conversation about bourbon. Mm-hmm. And this is obviously it's a beloved beverage. It's a beverage of not just America, but really of the South, and I think that we think of brown water when we think of the South, but these people were there to talk about bourbon. And so the energy was high. Everybody was very excited. Then they had a live auction, and Christopher Henke, who is an actor who has been on Broadway, but he's also sort of this MC of the arts for Nashville. He's flown in for these great arts events and just is a delight of a human. So he was there and he ran the auction, and anytime Christopher runs an auction, he just delivers. Mm-hmm. And so auction items were going, and in fact, Dan himself, you'll see in some of the pictures, wore a Letterman's jacket, from high school, but with all these bourbon sort of tags from it. It was very specific to the evening. Someone bought that off his back that night. Can you believe that?
No way.
I mean, just really phenomenal. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. It benefited Team Chad, the Ramsey Foundation, and TPAC. So all the money raised will be divided between those 3. And the Ramsey Foundation was started by Matthew Ramsey, who is the frontman for the band Old Dominion. And so after the auction, Old Dominion took the stage and performed, and there was just not a better way to end the evening.
That sounds like a blast.
Yes, it really was. So great energy, really, really fun, and I understand why they won the party this year.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it really does.
So what else were you up to this week?
So last night, just another hit it out of the park night. I went to the Fisk Gold and Blue Jubilee Heritage Awards. Now, this is their second annual, so I was not as familiar with it. I was so glad to learn about it and that we were invited to go and cover this event. It benefits both the Fisk Alumni Association and the Fisk Jubilee Singers Alumni Association. And I know many of our local audience will know this, but for those of us not, and those of you not in Nashville, the Fisk Jubilee Singers are not just a Nashville treasure. They are a national treasure. Anytime you can get to see the Fisk Jubilee Singers, run to see them. Mm-hmm. They are phenomenally talented young men and women. The history and heritage and story of the Fisk Jubilee Singers is remarkable and is noted for why Nashville is called Music City. So look that up because it's true. But there is a reverence when they perform, and the room is silent. Mm-hmm. Everyone is listening, and it is just a magical moment. So after the reception, everyone was seated in the auditorium, and the Fisk Jubilee Singers came out, and they opened it. And there's just not a better way to open or close an event or just have an event entirely around that, because it really is magical. That said, they had some awards to give out that evening, and they had the Eddie Thomas Award, which was given to Jimmy Starks. And Jimmy learned from Eddie Thomas everything he knows about the music industry and was so instrumental in promoting and helping young artists get off the ground and really become these superstars that we know of today. And then the 2025 honorees were Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, world-renowned and successful songwriting and producing duo. So really phenomenal evening. There were tributes, there were musical acts. So as an awards ceremony, it was just really a great way to have an awards ceremony, and really enjoyed the evening.
Well, the format sounds very engaging. I love that they highlighted the music that makes the Fisk Jubilee Singers so iconic and revered.
Yes, absolutely. So really, it was fantastic. So I can't say enough good things about it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that was our week.
Yes, I know. I just feel like, we had 3 seconds off this week, so.
But it was filled with so much amazing stuff.
It really was. So next week, we have another great week, and we really are looking forward to sharing that with you. Madeline will be reviewing Rosa, which is a performance that will be at Oz Arts.
And I'm so excited to go.
Super excited to hear about that. Can't wait. The Symphony Fashion Show kickoff will be taking place this week. So be sure to tune in for that, because we're going to talk about the designer. We're going to talk about all the exciting developments for the show in the spring. So can't wait. We also have the Literary Gala, which has the first edition reception, which will take place at Parnassus, and the gala. Featured author is Amor Towles, who is the author of Rules of Civility and A Gentleman in Moscow. So really excited about this. If you haven't read this book, it is fantastic. So be on the lookout for that. And then you go to the 75th annual Val de Vere.
Yes. And it hasn't happened for a few years.
That's
and
right.
They're kind of reimagining the event, so I'm excited to see what that's like.
Yes, that's going to be fantastic. I can't wait to hear about it. And they're really becoming very women-centric and really looking to how they can help these young women with scholarship and developing them. And so I'm very excited about that. So we've got a great week next week. So be sure to tune in. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And remember that with you, our Nfocus friends, we're in good company.
Cheers.
Cheers.